Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to CSAT QA 2024. In this particular session, we will be looking at uh, from 2024 QA. This is part 3 of the series, and I would like to welcome you all on the behalf of Career Launcher. So my name is Naveen, and today we'll be looking at a lot of questions from previous year's CSAT exam. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's start with the first question of the day. What is the number of fives used in numbering a 260-page book? So any digit is used 20 times in 1 to 99. So the digit 2 is used 20 times, digit 3 is used 20 times, digit 4 is used 20 times. So every digit, which is from 1 to 9, is used 20 times, and it's 0, which is used only 10 times. Not 10 times, it's actually 9 times. And so we have to look into the values beyond 99. So if we look at 100 to 199, any digit, now except 1 and 0. Okay, reason being now 1 is going to be at the hundreds place, right? So that will happen, that will be written at least 100 times. So any digit, we can say from 2 to 9, it's going to be used again 20 times. Now, from 200 to 260, if we look at the digit 5, so we are only looking at the number of times 5 is used. So 205 will be there, then 215 will be there, 225 will be there, 235 will be there, 245, 255. So we are only looking at the units place 5s. We are not looking at the tens place 5 that we have in 255. So we can see that 6 times is what we have 5 in the units place. Now, if you look at the tens place, we will have the numbers 250, 251, and so on up to 259. This is going to occur 10 times. So total number of times 5 is going to be there will be 20 from 1 to 99, another 20 times from 100 to 199, and then another 16 times from 200 to 260. So we will have a total of 56 times that the 5 is written in a 260-page book. In other words, from 1 to 260, when you write it, 5 is going to occur 56 times. Okay. A person buys 3 articles, P, Q, and R for rupees 3,320. If P costs 25% more than R and R costs 20% more than Q, then what is the cost of P? So we can see that R is related to Q and then P is related to R. So we will assume the value of Q to be any number of our choice. I'm going to choose Q to be 100. If Q is 100, R is going to cost 20% more than 100, which will be 120. If we look at P, P costs 25% more than R, which is 25% more than 120. Now, 25% of 120, which is 1/4 of 120, it's 30. So this is going to be 150. The total value of P plus Q plus R that we see is 370. This is as per our assumption, right? We assume the value of Q to be 100 and accordingly got the values of R and P. But we are not given 370, we are given 3330. So how many times is this going to be? Well, 37 into 3 is 111. So 37 into 3 will be 333. So if we put a 0 or if we multiply both sides by 10, this is what we get. So we can see that 370 into 9 results in 3330. If this is going to result in 9, which means, if the sum is going to be multiplied by 9, that means each value of PQR should also get 9 times. So since we are asked the value of P, it's going to be 150 into 9. Now 150 into 9 is same as 15 into 9, which is 135, along with a 0. So D becomes our answer. So when you are given questions only in terms of fractions or percentages, you can choose it to be any number. You start with that, you get everything as per the question says, and then you relate, you extrapolate what you have obtained and what the question says, how many times it is supposed to be. Everything else goes same number of times. So it helps us deal with problems with smaller values, so it's easy to calculate and answer. Another question. If the sum of the two-digit numbers A, B, and C, D is a three-digit number 1CE, where the letters A, B, C, D, and E denote distinct digits, then what is the value of A? So we have got AB plus CD, that results in 1CE. So what we see over here is we do not know what B plus D is, right? But A plus C, if it ends in C with a 1, this is only possible if A is going to be 9 and there was a carry before it, so that we will have 10 plus C as 1C. C is, let's say, 3. So 9 plus 1, 10, 10 plus C, that is 10 plus 3, 13. It will become 13. So that means B plus D will give us something and will be more than 10. Then only there is a carry over there. So the value of A, it's going to be 9. Right? Very straightforward. The kind of question asked is on a real life scenario basis. This is something that we have been doing since our school days. So the way the question is asked may be completely new, but the logic or the concept required in order to solve such questions, those are not new. Okay, next one. 3 numbers x, y, z are selected from the set of first 7 natural numbers such that x is greater than 2y, which is greater than 3z. How many such distinct triplets are possible? So first 7 natural numbers would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? And it is nowhere written that x, y, z, they cannot be same. They can be same. They can be different. Okay. Now, if we take z as 1, let's put the values one by one. Worst case, if I look at the options, I will have 4 scenarios. So let's start. If z is going to be 1, we are dealing with 3 is less than, we need a 4. So y has to be 2, which is less than. X can take 5, or it can take 6, or it can take 7. So basically, we will have 3 cases with the same value of y and z, but x is going to be different. So we will have distinct triplet here. Triplet here means since we are dealing with 3 values. So this could be 5, 6, or 7. Next, if we take z as 2, then what will happen is we will have 6 over here and we won't be able to cover everything within 7. So z as 2, it's not possible. The next possibility that we can think of is if z is 1, so we will have 3. And then 2y has to be more than 3. 2y cannot be 5. 4 we have already taken. 2y can be 6. So y is going to be 3. Now, for that, x has to be 7. So 7, 3, 1 is one more scenario. Since we do not have any option which says 5 triplets, we have already obtained 4 of them. That's the highest number of triplets in the option, so we do not have to worry about anything. We are not missing anything, right? Next question. The total cost of 4 oranges, 6 mangoes, and 8 apples is equal to twice the total cost of 1 orange, 2 mangoes, and 5 apples. Consider the following statements. The total cost of this is equal to the total cost of this, and the total cost of this is equal to total cost of this. So we have to find out which of the following is and or is correct. So we are told that total cost of 4 oranges, 6 mangoes, and 8 apples is equal to twice the total cost of 1 orange, 2 mangoes, and 5 apples. If we open the bracket and rearrange, 4 oranges minus 2 oranges is 2 oranges. 6 mangoes minus 4 mangoes, it's going to be 2 mangoes. And 10 apples minus 8 apples, it's going to be 2 apples. So oranges, 1 orange plus 1 mango is equal to 1 apple. This is one thing that we can figure out. So second statement is true. So answer is going to be either B or C, depending upon what happens with the first statement. Next statement says the total cost, next as in first statement says the total cost of 3 oranges, 5 mangoes, and 9 apples is equal to total cost of 4 oranges, 6 mangoes, and 8 apples. Well, if we rearrange it, 4 oranges minus 3 oranges is oranges, 6 mangoes minus 5 mangoes is a mango, and 9 apples minus 8 apples is apple. This also gives us the same thing from the given question. So if this is true, this is also true. So first statement is also true. So second option is ruled out. The correct option turns out to be option C. So basically, this is a question which is based on how you can manipulate linear equation in 3 variables. And what you need to do, it has to depend upon what kind of options are given to us. Next, 3 raised to 25 plus 2 raised to 27 is going to be divisible by which of the following? So, if we start with the first option, 3 to the power 25 is going to be divisible by 3. 2 to the power 27 is not divisible by 3, right? So their sum, it's not going to be divisible by 3. Now, from the remaining 3 options, it's going to be easier to solve question number 10. Now, a number is going to be divisible by 10 if the number ends in a 0 or it's a multiple of 10. So we have to check only the units digit of the sum of these two. Now, units digit of 3 to the power 25, it's going to be same as 3 to the power 1, which will be 3. And if we look at 2 to the power 27, this is going to be 2 to the power 4k plus 3, which is same as 2 to the power 3, which is going to give us 8. Now their sum is going to end in 1. So it's not a multiple of 10. Now, we are going to check the next option. It's either 7 or 11. If we check one of those, and if it turns out to be the answer, great. If it doesn't, then obviously the leftover option is our answer. So this was our option A, this was our option C. Let's check option B. 3 to the power 25 when divided by 7, right? Now, since 7 is a prime number, we do know that 3 to the power 6 when divided by 7, it will give us a remainder of 1, right? So we can look at this 3 cube, that is 27 when divided by 7 gives a remainder of minus 1. So 3 to the power 6 will give us a remainder of 1. So we can write this particular 3 raised to 25 as 3 to the power 6 whole to the power 4 into 3 to the power 1 divided by 7. So the remainder we will be getting would be in parts as 1 into 3. So the remainder is going to be 3. Let's check the next one, 2 to the power 27. Now, same logic, since 7 is a prime number, 2 and 7 are co-prime, so 2 to the power 6 when divided by 7 will give us a remainder of 1. So we can break down 2 raised to 27 as 2 to the power 6 whole to the power 4 into 2 cube. when divided by 7. Solving this in parts, 2 to the power 6 when divided by 7, which is basically 64 divided by 7, it gives us a remainder of 1. And then 2 cubed when divided by 7, that is 8 divided by 7, will again give us a remainder of 1. So we get the remainder here as 1. Now we are asked to add these two. In other words, we are supposed to add 3 and 1. If we add them, we will get the remainder as 3 plus 1, which is going to be 4. So it's definitely not divisible by 7. So only D has to be the one that makes sense. Right? Next one. Let P and Q be positive integers satisfying P has to be less than Q and P plus Q is equal to K. What is the smallest value of K that does not determine P and Q uniquely? So instead of solving it, trying to make sense what the question says, let's use the options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put K is equal to 3. Now, can we think of two positive integers as in natural numbers such that their sum is 3 and one of them is smaller than the other? There is one and only one way. So we know that the value of P is going to be 1 and value of Q is going to be 2. So we get one possibility. So we are able to determine it. Question says we should not be able to determine it. So 3 cannot be our answer. If you look at 4, it's going to be 1 plus 3. Another possibility is 2 plus 2, but then we need to fulfill this condition as well. So there is again only one possibility. So we will be able to determine as to what P is and what is Q. Question is asking us we should not. So 4 is again not our answer. If you look at 5, 5 can be written as 1 plus 4 as well as 2 plus 3. So if I say that K is 5, which has to be written as sum of two numbers where one number is less than the other, what is that number? The thing is, we do not know. It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 4, it may be 3 for P and Q respectively. So 5 is the scenario where we have got multiple possibilities. Hence, we do not know which one will work out. Hence, we won't be able to determine it. So 5 as in C option becomes our answer. So the way question has been framed, it may look a very difficult one, but if you start using the options, it becomes pretty easy, isn't it? Next, a data sufficiency based question. A question is given followed by two statements, 1 and 2. Consider the question and the statements. Question is, what are the values of m and n, where m and n are natural numbers? First statement says m plus n is greater than m into n, and m is greater than n. Statement 2 says the product of m and n is 24. Now, we have to look at the options, and it says it can be answered using this statement alone, not the other one, together, in either alone. We cannot conclude anything, right? No conclusion is not there. Can be answered by using both the statements together and not alone, and cannot be answered, right? So let's use the first statement. If I use the first statement, I have to think of two numbers whose sum is going to be greater than their product. So I can think of 1 plus 2 is greater than 1 into 2, right? Where m should be greater than n. So since m is written first, so I'll write it exactly that way. 2 plus 1 is greater than 2 into 1. 3 plus 1 is going to be greater than 3 into 1. Basically, anything plus 1 is going to be greater than that thing into 1. Isn't it? M plus 1 has to be greater than m. So question asked is, what are the values of m and n? So the thing is 2 plus 1. So m is 2, n is 1. 3 plus 1, m is 3, n is 1, and so on and so forth. What is the value of m? What is the value of n? We won't be able to answer this using first statement. Second statement. Let's forget about the first one. The product of m and n is 24. There are a lot of possibilities, right? It could be 1 into 24, it could be 24 into 1, it could be 2 into 12, it could be 12 into 2, and so on and so forth. तो हम बता नहीं पाएंगे इसको, है ना? So using the second statement also, we won't be able to answer. So option A cannot be our answer, option B is not going to be our answer. We will have to now club them. Now, the product of m and n is 24. So basically we are saying m plus n is greater than 24. Now this is going to be greater than 24 when m is going to be 24, n is going to be 1, such that it can be written as 24 into 1. So we get the actual value of m and n, because m has to be greater than n using the first statement, right? And their sum has to be greater than product. So this is true for all such scenarios for 24. So m and n could have been 1 and 1 also, right? 1 into 1 is equal to 1 plus 1. Sorry, 1 plus 1 is greater than 1 into 1. So question can be answered using both the statements together, but cannot be answered using either of the statements. So C option becomes our answer. Well, if you have any query regarding your preparation or the kind of questions that may come in the exam, from which all topics they should come, feel free to comment in the chat or in the comment section below. We will get back to you with the answer of your query. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Make sure that you like the video and share it with your friends who are also preparing for CSAT. I'll see you again very soon with the next session of previous year questions from 2024. Until then, take care.